Welcome to OSRS Weekly, where I like to talk about the game update, highlight anything worth mentioning, and give my thoughts on any changes. As always, a massive thank you for watching. If you like this type of content, consider dropping a like and sub for more OSRS videos. But with that being said, let's get into the video. Starting us off strong, Deadman Annihilation launches this Friday on January the 30th at 5 PM, and it comes with some of the biggest Deadman changes old school RuneScape has ever seen. Now, I'm not much of a PvP expert, but I can tell you that this Deadman looks fantastic if you're looking to get stuck in on a Deadman for your first time ever. Personally, I won't be participating because I just suck at PvP and it's not really something that interests me too much. However, if you're a massive fan of leagues, I think that this could be a nice replacement until League 6. And the reasons for this are jagex have really catered this Deadman to the newer player, people who aren't pros at PvP, and that's very clear in their news blog and the changes that they've made. So what changes have they made? Well, let me tell you. Deadman progression now revolves around Deadman points earned from almost everything, PVM, skilling, clues, diaries, and achievements. Those points are used to buy sigils and exclusive main game cosmetics. Bank keys are gone. You'll only risk what you're carrying, and your risk is shown by colored skulls above your head similar to Bounty Hunter. Sigils are no longer RNG. You can buy exactly what you want with points, and non-combat sigils are permanent, meaning you'll never be locked out of utility. Deadman chests can drop from NPCs and take time to open, 60 seconds or 30 seconds in multi, but reward powerful Deadman only weapons like Dogsword and Thunder Kapesh. Can you guys see where I'm coming from when I say this is going to be like a league experience, which I think is going to be incredible. The Ruinous Powers Prayer Book is back, again another thing from leagues. Combat brackets worlds have returned, and breaches remain a core feature, spawning at 2 AM, 10 AM, and 7 PM UTC. The finale has been reworked into a multi-combat faction fight that eventually becomes a full free-for-all. And for the first time ever, you can block combat stats and hit points independently, which will allow players to make some insane builds. Now, what I just said there was an absolute mouthful, but I think the key concept to take away from this is that it's a league's experience that is PvP focused. I think that in itself sounds super fun, and I think everyone should try it if you're interested. Okay, moving away from PvP and Deadman, we got Sailing Quality of Life, who could have guessed, and it comes in the form of facility bottles. Essentially, what these are they just allow you to move facilities on your boat without losing the materials. However, they're not the easiest to obtain. However, because I'm making this video one day late, there's actually a update on the news post mentioning that you'll be able to buy these for like 75k from some random NPC. Again, I'm not really understanding why we're gating moving facilities around on some items when we can move things in our POH just fine, but that's the route that jagex are taking on this one. They seem to be kind of sticking their ground on it too, so don't expect anything else to change, but at least this time we have something that will let us move our facilities around our boat. If you're like me and messed up in the early days with the crystal extractor and cost you like 2 mil, then you know the pain of having to get that sorted. Moving away from the sailing quality of life that we got in boat facility bottles, we got bank UI changes, which again, controversial. However, on this one, I do want to say, yes, it does look a little odd, and yes, we're not used to it, but I actually do think it is better. Now, I know that's a crazy take, but genuinely, I think that give it a week, you won't even notice it's changed, and just having those bigger buttons means you misclick less. It's just a nicer experience overall. I do want to say that I do think that they should have added a toggle though. I don't think that we should be changing things without giving people toggles. But then I guess I understand as well, when you're trying to cater to the newer player, having another option on another option and then having options for every little thing, you know, there has to be limits, I guess. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Should there be a toggle or not? I don't think there should be, but I do think changes like this should be polled. If it is polled and passes, then that's great. Moving away from the controversial topics, we got some wilderness changes, which are absolutely perfect for countering bots. And hopefully that will sort of deter the bot makers from making these bot farms that have absolutely just crashed the price of Void Waker, but time will tell. How much this matters, I'm not too sure. And again, I'm not too sure how hard the diaries really brick bots, but I definitely think it will slow them down quite heavily. So what did we get in terms of changes? Well, the wilderness bosses basically have had their requirements up. So if you wanted to kill Vetian or Callisto or Venenatis, you now need to have the medium wilderness diary. And if you want to kill their demi-boss versions like Artio, Calvarion, and Spindle, you need to have hard wilderness diaries. Now, this is a really good change to counter bots, because bots would just spin up an account, get the stats, and just go and farm it until they get nuked. Well, they're not going to be able to do that anymore. Now they're going to have to go do quests, get total levels, and it's just going to slow them down a lot. On top of that, Irons can now get a proportional amount of loot from undead pirates that have been hit by other players. But if you were to get something that doesn't drop as like a number, say for example like a rune longsword or something along those lines, you just don't get a drop. But if it was like noted anglerfish, then you'd get a percentage of the amount of damage that you dealt of its health bar. Now, I did see a comment lurking around on Reddit where somebody mentioned that, why don't we just have it so that when an Iron Man attacks a monster, its health bar just resets and goes back to full? And I think that's a completely solid idea, like especially in single combat, obviously not in multi, but anywhere, I guess. Then, but then that doesn't really work for undead pirates. Yeah, I don't know how how you could fix it, but that sounds good on paper. And then you realize that, you know, you could grief people as an Iron Man if you were doing that. Or maybe if the monster's in combat with another player, then it doesn't regenerate its health, but then you're running into like, maybe that's like a coding issue. I'm not a coder. I don't know how hard that is to code, but I thought it was a good suggestion. I don't know how it would get implemented well though. On top of, we also got Devout Boots, which can now be dismantled back into Holy Sandals, so people can make Holy Molies, if that's something you wanted to do as an Iron Man. And that's pretty much everything for today's, or yesterday's update. Sorry this video came out a day late. I've been super busy with some IRL stuff. But I do want to just say I have noticed that this subscriber count on this channel has absolutely skyrocketed. And I'm genuinely grateful for all of the support. And I will continue to make RuneScape videos to the best of my ability. So look forward to more In a Nutshell videos, top OSRS activity videos, and anything else that I think sort of deems a nice guide or some tips, because I'm all about just helping and providing information where I can. With that being said, I will catch you guys in my next OSRS video. If you like this type of content, consider dropping a like, sub for more, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!